All right. So basically, I am going to talk about another small phase in my death. Um, First of all, I'd like to talk about my girlfriend. Uh, uh, After I came back from my near-death experience, there's definitely a lot of the loving force that stays with you for some time, and also the memory is very clear. Not only is the memory very clear of the other side, but you bring back a piece of the loving force. So you bring back a piece of the sunlight within you, and so you're just almost radiating this sunlight, this energy. And so I had a very hard time. Of course, I remember the mission that I was told that I must save the world. Um, uh, so basically, to make a long story short, I tried to transfer the knowledge that I've had, um, the knowledge and the powers that came with the loving force to my girlfriend. Um, and I think that at times when I stare into her eyes, she definitely um, sees a lot of. Well, I see deeply into her soul, and she definitely has a connection, and I think she does recognize massive electrical, um, an aura of electricity, and a very definite. I think I did was very successful in transferring a lot of the knowledge and a lot of the power of the other side onto her, which was quite nice. I, I really wanted, I really what I really wanted was sort of um, help in saving humanity from their pain and suffering, and I wanted her to take on this mission as well. And I knew the only way to do that was to have her have the same knowledge and the power and um, the to access the loving force, and that was very interesting. Um, the second part I wanted to talk about was the multiple dimensions that are available to people who are dead. They're able to travel um, in multiple time dimensions and multiple dimensions and multiple worlds. Um, After all, they are basically just a spirit body. They don't really grounded to a living world such as this planet. So um, there's an once you become part of this loving field, you gain something called omniscience, which is all knowing, that you know everything that God knows. So you are the mind of God, you are the mind of creation. And then you have all of God's powers. So you have all of the loving force's powers. Um, so that's a lot of power. Um, so of course, dimensions are not really. It's very basic. Um, on my way back, I think one of the hardest things that to do is to fragment yourself from this universal field, this field that connects everything, to separate yourself and say that you are, this one ego, this one human being, and to look at the universe it, as the perception of one objective viewer. And this was very difficult. It takes a lot of fear to separate yourself from the unifying field, the loving force. Um, and there were many dimensions that I was I I could have chose to partake in the living world, and this world particularly was um, there are many worlds and many dimensions, and all of them are not the same. They're all different, if slightly or in a big way. And some worlds, everyone lives in peace, and everyone lives with love. And some worlds are similar to this world. Some worlds are this and that. In between, there's a full spectrum of worlds and dimensions, and they all have sort of a theme to them. So some worlds might be very have a lot of fear in that world, or some worlds have less fear. This world in particular had the most amount of fear, and had the most amount of beings that were living more in a robotic nature, more predictable nature, and that's very disconcerting as well. Is predictability is definitely not God's plan, is not part of the loving force, because loving force is actually all freedom. And when people live robotic lives, it's definitely the other side. It's definitely not what the loving force wants. And I think that this world also had a strange fascist sort of controlling theme to it. I think it was the one world I didn't want to actually be in, but I guess it's very hard to choose, because you have to control your mind, and you have to know how to work with the loving force to kind of not try to stay away from certain dimensions and worlds, and try to go to the world and dimensions that you want to go to. That they're all pretty much it's kind of like a big wheel. And this dimension had sort of a Nazi kind of a Nazi Adolf Hitler kind of theme to it. It had sort of a very, very negative, very, very dictatorship kind of slavery world to it. And it was one of the dimensions and worlds that I think if a lot of people end up dying, and not to try to avoid, if they want to come back. So yeah, it's a very, very, very difficult world, this one dimension. There's many different dimensions, but this one is definitely the most difficult. And there's a lot of fear in this world, for sure. And it's definitely almost impossible to live with the loving force, and with what the laws and the what reality is. What the truth is unconditional love is the only truth, really. And this world doesn't seem to really honor that, especially because unconditional love is without fear. Unconditional love does not have any fear, no hatred. Unconditional love doesn't have any of the things that this world has come to. This world has definitely come to, I guess, the proverbial, this world has definitely swallowed the nightmare pill, and it's definitely kind of a strange dimension, for sure. So I would just I think my advice to all those out there is that to control your mind and learn how to work with the loving force now, so that in the future you'll be able to choose where you want to live, and you'll have the freedom to choose the right dimension and the right worlds. there's millions of alien worlds out there, and